Thanks so much for joining us. We're talking to Amelia Gulkis, a board member from WBON.org. Welcome, Amelia.
Hello.
Thanks so much for jumping on and sharing a bit about your story. Amelia is from EnSave, and would you tell us a little bit about your awesome company?
Sure. Well, Lisa, EnSave has been around for 25 years doing agricultural, energy, and sustainability consulting work. So we work across the United States with utilities and state energy offices and with individual farms to help them find ways to reduce energy and waste on the farm and in turn save money and overall make their operation more sustainable and more environmentally friendly.
Wow. And has this been a passion of yours your whole life? Is it something that you just sort of fell into and decided this is really cool, I'd love to investigate it?
Sure. Well, I've always been what I would consider an environmentalist, from an early age. It's just how I grew up in Vermont, caring for the environment and learning about, how we can best do our part. And so I always had an interest in environmental issues, and I don't have necessarily a scientific background or an engineering background like a lot of the people here in the company, but I had an opportunity back in 2004 to come on board with EnSave, working on proposals and some of our business development. And so the rest really is history, that I was able to use my background in writing and communications to have a foot in the door to a company that was really doing some neat things. And then here I am all these years later as one of the company owners. So it's been an interesting journey.
Wonderful. Congratulations. And how many owners are there?
Right now there's just me and one other partner.
And how are you enjoying ownership? Like, what is it that you love most about ownership?
Sure. Well, it's funny. I mean, I never entered the business expecting that I would one day be an owner. It's kind of an interesting path that I took to get there. But I just enjoy the opportunity to kind of chart my own destiny a little bit more than if I was simply an employee, but also to help shape the company and hopefully offer others the opportunity that I was offered to make a difference and carve out a bigger role for themselves if they wish. And just being able to make decisions that can pivot our company in different directions and grow as best as we can, but all the while keeping it enjoyable and something that stays true to our origins and our values.
No, you're clearly passionate. I love listening to you. You just got this wonderful energy about you when you talk about it.
Great. Well, it's something I certainly enjoy and feel passionate about. So it's good that comes through.
And how has it impacted your life, your lifestyle working for yourself?
Sure. Well, I mean, I suppose in many ways, certainly as an owner, you have a greater commitment to the business than you do when you're an employee. And it's kind of a subtle shift because I was always very dedicated to my work and interested in, building my career and just doing the best job I could. And as an owner, that just kind of deepens a little bit that, you realize one day that, wow, this is on my shoulders and, there's nobody else who's going to take care of this. So I have to do it. I mean, certainly in a partnership and my business partner is somebody who is older than me and more experienced in business. So, I mean, that's wonderful that I have somebody to kind of look up to in that regard. I'm not all by myself making decisions, on the fly, but it just kind of deepens your commitment, especially when you have employees like we do, that you really have to, think of them and think of the impact that you're having on people, that, you have a certain number of employees and you want to do all you can to keep those employees, gainfully employed and have a future for them. So it just kind of deepens your sense of responsibility. I'm a mom too. I have 2 daughters. And so it's a similar sense in some ways of, you hear somebody crying in the middle of the night and you might not want to get up, but then you realize, oh, wait, that's me. I have to get up. And in some ways, there's some similarities to the business in the same type of thing, that you might not want to do everything that's necessary, but you have to. You have to step up.
Right. In order to reach those goals that you really want to reach.
Yeah.
Wow. It really sounds like you're building a wonderful community within your organization and within the people that you work with.
I hope to, yeah. I hope to create a place that people enjoy coming to and feel like there's opportunity here.
Yeah. And how has the WBON community really contributed and supported you in your business and how you run your business?
Sure. Well, WBON is really a neat organization. I feel that it's a great legacy dating from 1984 in kind of a different time for women in business, and it's still relevant today of creating really a community of women business owners and entrepreneurs who can really learn from each other and use each other as resources. I joined WBON, certainly partially for the women business owner component to be able to connect with other women leaders, but also there's really not a lot of resources for business owners. There's lots of networking for people who are, at the higher levels of their professions and want to build their careers. But being an owner, there's just a different set of responsibilities and a different set of concerns. And so it's really great to connect with other business owners. And, with women, sometimes it just feels, a little bit more honest sometimes in the conversations we're able to have, just not so much focused on, I have to present myself a certain way so people know I'm, really, really at the top of my game, but more being able to kind of let your hair down a little bit and say, well, I am at the top of my game with this, but I'm also struggling with that. And, what have you done? How have you seen this? And it's just wonderful at the board level to see these really strong, interesting women come together every few months and be able to talk through things in a really respectful manner that has some disagreements and has some irritations like any group, but at the same time is really able to get things done in a great manner. And it's just a really interesting dynamic to see something that's all female, something that you don't see in the business world very often.
All female, very supportive, like you said, and really able to work through things. And I agree with everything that you said. It is such an amazing community and so supportive. What I love about it as well is that you've got businesses at every single level and so many different varieties of businesses, so that as a member, you can really reach out and be able to get support in any area that you're looking for and that you're needing. And like you said, you can be flourishing over here, but really still struggling over here. And what I've really realized is that the WBON organization allows you the struggle instead of trying to hide it, because we need to look at what's going on and get support.
Right.
So that sort of leads into, is there something that you wish that you had known before, about business before you actually became a partner in EnSave?
That's a good question. It's hard to say because I still am learning every day, and there's always little things I wish I had known. Let's see. I guess there's no single thing. I guess maybe I'm more of a textbook type of person, in the sense that I learn a lot through reading and taking classes and that kind of thing. And I didn't have any formal business education per se. And I feel in some ways that's been an asset, because I bring my other experiences to bear and my other interests and things. But at the same time, I guess being an owner and having that responsibility, you just have to kind of get comfortable not knowing some things and being comfortable, not having your textbook and instead just having to plow through something and learn as you're going. So I guess knowing to kind of be comfortable being uncomfortable, I suppose, is something that I've learned and have gotten more used to over the years.
That is a huge component of what I work on with the entrepreneurs that I work with, is getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, because
Right.
we really don't find our zone of genius within our comfort zone. We need to push to the edges in order to stretch ourselves. And I really agree with what you're saying. I come from a family business, and I also went to school for business, and I learned so much more to be able to approach a business with an open mind, and to be able to grow the business instead of via textbook where this is the way that you do it. You've got to sort of go with the ebb and flow and whatnot within a business.
Yeah. Right. And I think, too, we're on the cusp of a lot of things changing in business, because we have a new generation of people that are coming on board in companies and rising up to the leadership level, and also seeing more women entrepreneurs. And that just shifts the dynamic from what business was 20 or 30 years ago. So I think some of how you learn to communicate in business in the textbook fashion is changing as our world changes. And it's a subtle shift, but it's still a shift. And I think 20 years from now, we'll look back and, it'll be certainly a different dynamic than what we've grown up with. So that's interesting to kind of see how those things unfold and how business changes.
Yeah. How has that impacted your business? To be able to, because we are so much more online, we are so much more virtual, like this call, instead of sitting face to face.
Yeah.
How has that impacted the way that you do business?
Sure. Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's always been a factor in our business because we're based here in Richmond, Vermont. And a lot of times people hear about us and think we work, in Vermont with our farms here, and we do to some extent. And that's how we got our start years ago. But we also work nationally, and we have ever since I've been at EnSave for, 13 years now. So, I've always done business a lot through conference calls and, have dealt with people for years that I've never met face to face. And now we have this new dynamic of the video call, which is getting better and better. And it's a lot less clunky than it used to be. So it's more feasible to do these kinds of things. But, I think that is something that all businesses are facing and it's liberating in a way to think that, yourself, Lisa, as a consultant, it could have been years ago, you really didn't have much of a means of working with people all over the place. You had to set your sights just on your immediate surroundings. But now, because of technology, you can offer your services and be able to be a consultant far and wide, with a similar level of intimacy that you would face to face. So it's neat to see, and it's nice to be able to use these tools to better communicate and to better do business without having to always hop on a plane and feel like you had to have these big formal sit downs with folks.
Yeah, I've definitely found that the clients that I work with actually prefer it. At first, they really want to meet face-to-face because that's sort of the traditional way. But when we can really lean into the ease of meeting this way, A, it's easier. You don't have to get in your car and drive and find a parking space. And B, you don't have to get in your car and drive and impact the environment.
Right. Yeah, it's certainly greener. And then it's such a time saver when you don't have to factor in getting there and getting back and getting situated and all those things.
So your impact really can be worldwide with little bit of footprint? The green, I should know this.
A small carbon footprint.
Small carbon footprint,
yeah.
Right. So you really can create a great impact via these types of tools, which is great.
Right.
So another question for you might be, where else is this wonderful passion for the environment and community impacting your life? Where else is it sort of showing up?
Sure. Well, I guess in my personal life, it's always been a factor of just kind of in the back of my mind whenever I'm looking at any kind of a change or something new to purchase or a new practice. It's the environmental impact has always been, at the forefront. And that's just how I grew up and how I think about things. And kind of the challenge of my work is to help others kind of have that same framework of looking at the environmental impact as much as they would just the simple cost benefit of something. So, I grew up in rural Vermont where we had the big compost pile and just the waste reduction was just ingrained in what we did. And so I carry that forth as much as I can, in my personal life of, hanging my laundry out to dry and getting reusable.
Smells better.
That's right. Yeah. Nothing like laundry coming in on a sunny day. Trying to use reusable, recyclable materials where I can, and certainly just having less consumption overall of things and of energy and of water, and just trying to really be mindful of, all the waste that we can generate in our everyday lives and trying to find ways to reduce that. Folks who are interested in learning more about what we do can certainly visit our website, www.ensave.com. I'm also certainly happy to talk to any potential members and such who would love to talk business or find out more about what we do at WBON. My email address, it's Amelia, Amelia G as in Gulkis, at EnSave, EnSave.com. Always happy to chat with folks. I'd love to connect with other business owners and other business people here in Vermont.
Yeah, there's an amazing group of business owners at WBON, and just the state of Vermont has so many different entrepreneurs. So it is just a great place to live, great place to work, and just a fabulous community.
Right.
So Thank you, Amelia, so much for the time for the interview. I'm so excited to have the first interview out there. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to Amelia, whether it's about WBON, because she is a board member, or about EnSave, or just to connect and sort of set up for a virtual coffee, because it's always nice to chat with other business owners and learn about what it is that they do. So, and my name is Lisa Danforth, which I think I forgot to say in the beginning, and I'm a business strategist for women entrepreneurs. And thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Go on to the WBON Facebook page and join the community there if you would, and we'd love to hear more from you. So thanks again. Thank you, Amelia. Really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing everyone at the next event.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Lisa.